everyone. This is Jared RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, May 29, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a reverse aging health call and all the rest tomorrow night, Friday, 30th of May, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. Even though you may not think of this about yourself, but you are lovable. Your unique way of being in this world, your energy, your presence, and just the normal, natural way you are, is lovable. You do not have to do anything special to be lovable. You were born lovable. It's a quality that we cannot escape from. It's your energy and your consciousness. And being worthy of love is just who you are. Now, when we accept the fact that we are lovable just the way we are, without having to change a thing, makes it easier for others to love us. People can feel it when you love yourself. And it feels like a warm, welcoming invitation from the heart. I invite you to imagine that everyone loves you exactly the way you are. Right now, this very moment. Take the leap in consciousness and try it out. You'll start feeling that it is true and begin manifesting more loving experiences all through your day. This universe wants you to experience more and more and more love every day. Believe it or not, this is one of the greatest purposes of life, to let in as much love as you possibly can. There is not a shortage of love in this universe. It's a great abundance. The greatest love is already here and all around you. Now, open your heart just a crack and allow warm, cozy energy to come in. You can find it easy to allow yourself to receive love because you are a good being. You have a good heart. You have good intentions. Believe these things because deep, deep, deep down, you know they are true. The highest phenomenon is when love is a state and not a relationship. Not that you are in love, but that you are love. Also. Now, the vibration of love is a powerful thing to focus on. It is the ever-expanding force of energy that is continuously saying yes to life. It loves dwelling on the positive aspects of life and having compassion for the negative. The vibration has a soft energy about it, and somehow, in the right situations, it has the most fierce, courageous strength as well. You'll know you are in it when everything feels right, light, and good. And these feelings are deeply grounded in your body. The vibration of love is that which allows you to deeply relax and naturally exist in a wonderful, vulnerable place that is empowered, open to receive, and free. It is not controlling nor resisting life in any way. It is appreciating, accepting, and approving of what is. Real love is eager to embrace others and listen to what is really going on beneath the surface. It only knows gentleness and kindness, welcoming with an open, accepting heart the other's anxiety, sadness, and all of their fears. Love is not afraid of anything. It's like the sun, who was just meant to shine bright, give its warm light and life to the world. Now, when you say yes to the vibration of love, you're saying yes to the relaxing, healing energy of acceptance. You are choosing to accept yourself exactly as you are, where you are in your life, and allowing any negative critical ideas that you have about yourself are okay too. Love welcomes all, loves all, sees the good in all. It takes in those hard, desperate thoughts of unworthiness, fault, lack, and limitation, and treats them like little sweet orphan animals who just need a warm home and a big cozy hug. And when your negative thoughts know they are okay, that they are lovable too, they will relax, soften, and let go. There is something so deeply beautiful when we say yes with our hearts to the vibration of love. Something magical happens inside the center of our being. It's as if the soul of our life catches on fire and starts blazing its way through this life with unstoppable pizzazz and joy. We feel totally alive, turned on by life, and excited about interacting with everyone. We want to share this incredible experience with everybody because it's just too huge to contain. Practice focusing on the vibration of love. Practice feeling that yes in your body to energy of love. Say yes in each moment you can to letting in more and more love. You can do it. It's super fun. Just look inside yourself. Be honest and find out what love feels like for you. Trust your body. Know that it cannot lie. I dare you to open your heart right now to letting in more love than may feel normal or comfortable. Expand your old perceptions of yourself. Step into a new you. Welcome in this new being who is ready in every moment to welcome in life. Let it in more and more joy. Give life the biggest yes that you've got inside. You're worth it. And when you can get centered in real devotion to this vibration, you'll discover the most amazing, ridiculously beautiful, awesome life you could ever dream of. Now maybe you've done this where you've sat. It's like in this meditation where you have no outside distractions. You find a comfortable place. You relax into your body. You're as still as a statue, and you're focused on your natural breath rising and falling. Now, on one hand, we have deep eternal gratitude that we choose to be in all day long. Of course, we have deep eternal love. We also have one of the most powerful things we can do is master the art of forgiveness. You know, I think none of us are exempt from this in this life. It's like when someone is carrying a grudge against anybody, whether it's big or small, but you're actually doing is clinging to a heavy shield around your heart that's weighing you down and negatively impacting you on many levels. By continuing to be angry, upset with somebody else or you, because let's say they have wronged you, or it only hurts you in the long run. Like attracts like. And when we hold on to feelings, how someone has hurt us, we're anchoring our energy in the past and attracting another victim-like scenario in the future. It grows, okay? Now, are we aware of that? No, I don't believe we're aware of it. But it does grow. It does expand. And in the event we do not learn how to forgive and let go of the pain that's been done, it doesn't allow us to be fully open, available, alive, present to this divine moment. Our being becomes tight, protected and contracted. And when we cannot forgive people, the quicker we can learn to let go, the less time we spend in pain and suffering. Holding on to a grudge from the past with anyone only hinders our ability to become a positive, open, loving being who is manifesting the life of our dreams. The word forgiveness is derived from the word to give. Forgiveness is a gift of freedom and healing. And when you give it to another being, you actually are giving this to yourself. The act of forgiving another may not free the other being if they do not accept it, yet it will definitely liberate your energy. Even if the other being holds on to the past grudge all the way to the grave, you can still forgive them for not knowing how. Your job is simply to let the past go and trust that everything is always in perfect divine order. This universe never makes mistakes. Ever, ever. Every act of harm on this planet, in this very now moment, unleashes pure stimulation for our soul's awakening. Every act of harm unleashed is pure stimulation for our soul's awakening. The pain makes us wake up, recalibrate our life, and adjust our sails towards a bigger freedom. The judgments we tend to inflict upon ourselves force us to love ourselves even deeper. The wound inside us creates a womb where a new life can be formed. We must choose then to give birth to something inside us that is more loving, healing, and creative. We must choose to also forgive ourselves for anything that is less than love. And when we do forgive ourselves, we instantly feel a great lightness that opens our chest, spreads all throughout our body. It is a powerful path to healing that is always available to choose in every moment of our lives. Every day, we have the option to let go of our pride and let in love, or hold on tighter and be right about something unfair or wrong. Now, if and when we want to become a more sensitive, humble, deeply loving human being, we must learn the response of forgiveness and compassion. Softening our ego is perhaps the most empowering and enlightening action we can do, as it puts us directly in contact with our soul. If we are ready to experience the amazing power of forgiveness today, when you hold on to a grudge, you are actually holding on to the story about what happened along with heavy feelings attached to your story. When you fully feel those heavy feelings that arise when you think about your story, you then can move through them and underneath them. Be curious about what is there underneath your feelings, as it will be something you never thought of before. Notice how you played your part in the drama and take responsibility for the role you stepped into. And when you understand what the payoff of benefits you received by playing this role, no matter how horrible it was, you can then let go of the pattern completely. Many of us have repressed feelings. In other words, there's the closet, it's there, and we keep stuffing things in the closet. We don't embrace them. We don't view them. We don't interact with them. We're not curious about them. It's like throughout this life, many of us experience someone mistreating or hurting us. We may either express the pain or repress it. Now, if we're taught to repress our feelings, put on a brave face, go on with our lives, we will have many heavy feelings inside us rotting away at our core. All repressed feelings fester deep inside of us and cause us to continue to carry a burden about life. Relationships, people in this world. The first step is forgiving. In forgiving is letting go of these heavy duty feelings, allowing them to turn into lighter feelings. There are many techniques that can help us release pent-up emotions from the past. And one simple way you can do this on your own is emotional release, writing, journaling. You just write, you sit down, you get a journal, piece of paper, whatever, and just write about the past event without censoring it. Write from your most emotional place. Keep writing until you have emptied everything out. Do not read it once you have finished. Wait a few days or weeks before you read it. You can burn what you have journaled and proclaim out loud, I let this go. Now, if your repressed emotions are very strong or feel overwhelming, it may be best to get the support of someone, some trained professional, to help you let them go. In every moment, you have the opportunity to choose forgiveness. Once you release that, holding on to the past only harms you. You can consciously choose to let it go instead of returning to resentment. Choosing forgiveness is a constant process. It's not once in a while. This means you will always choose to feel feelings of lightness, freedom, and healing from the past event. Once you have decided to forgive someone, visualize that being is in front of you and say it out loud to them. I forgive you completely for what happened. I love you and thank you for the lesson. Please forgive me for what I have done. Notice how it feels just reading this proclamation in your body. By stating this message out loud, you create an instant energetic shift in your body. The being can be on the phone, in the room, or simply there in your mind. If and when you do this in your mind, the secret is that it must feel real to you. You will be amazed at how this declaration starts opening up your entire world in ways you've never dreamed were possible. You'll soon see how it sparks the manifestation of more positive and desired experiences into your life. Everything that occurs and happens, of course, we are the instigators of it. Well, how can that be, right? Well, you decide to do something or to place something in a place, whatever it is. And because of that, things occur. It's like, just today, I have a small car in storage. It's in a carport, let's put it that way. And of course, I check on it. And so when I checked on it, now I understand the car is pulled deep. It's in the carport. You know, there's gravel and you pull in. And there's no, like, there's only one entrance, let's put it that way. You can't drive out and back out. So anyway, you know, I was checking and looking, and lo and behold, on the trunk, right, and this is really heavy metal there. It's not the thin, flimsy metal on the side of the vehicles and stuff. It's right on the trunk lip. And, you know, the vehicle's covered. It's got 2 covers on it. And so when I'm looking, I notice immediately this big dent on, like something came down on it. Okay? Had to be pretty darn heavy to buckle that metal. Now, of course, who put it there? I did. Okay? Now, would it have happened if I would have had it where I could see it every day? Who knows? Probably most likely not. So, in other words, because I decided to put it in this carport, okay, where you can't see it every day, it just sits in there. Someone backed into it and damaged the trunk. Okay? Now, I didn't notice it until I took the cover off. If you looked at the cover, you would not even notice there was, of course, you couldn't see anything, and the material wasn't disturbed. So as soon as I took the cover off, I immediately knew. You know, it was, you know, you can see the chip. It was a brand new dent, and the car doesn't have any dents on it. And of course, I looked it over completely. Took a couple pictures of it. Now, I could have been really irritated, upset, and said to myself, you know, that's going to attract some really negative stuff. And so I just let it go. Forgave it, let it go. You know, this too can be fixed. And left it alone. You see, it's in situations where we really don't, you know, we're not clearly aware and say, well, you know, I'm not going to go down that path of irritation, upset, right? It happened. It's the way it is, okay? And it can be rectified. But now there's other people that would get really upset about that. You know, they'd get bent out of shape. Go into the office, rant and rave. Why expend that energy and attract more? So there's a boo-boo. Someone did it. You know, I could say, why didn't they have the courtesy to tell the front office that, you know, that they actually backed into it and it might be damaged. So we decide, whether we know it or not, when anything ever happens, it's because we've decided to do something, period. We don't think about it that way, but we attract it. And it depends on how we respond to certain situations. Okay? Someone can really rub you the wrong way, right? We've all been there, I believe. We're not exempt from it. Now, you could take, you know, it's up to you to decide how you're going to respond. So you say to yourself, you know, the best energy that I can really feel or think of is just to forgive and be in deep gratitude that I'm able to forgive and let it go. And you'll find that it just passes off. Another instant years ago, I was driving my vehicle, traveling, and it's hard to explain. Some of you can identify with this. I was in the vehicle. I was traveling down in the city where I was, down the road, right? There's buildings and everything. And I saw an intersection I did see the intersection coming up. I wasn't speeding or anything. I was just tooling along. But I wasn't in my body. You ever had that happen? So it's a strange feeling, but you're kind of like, you're there, but you're not. So I was in a lane, and you have like maybe 2-4 lanes, and you come to the intersection, and if you're going to go left, you basically put on your turn signal and move to the left or center lane to turn. Okay. Well, what happened is that I was, since that's out of the body, this big black pickup truck, Super Duty, I believe it was a Ford, and this guy was hitting about 80, roughly. And he just come barreling down. And so I was going to turn, but I was in the wrong lane. Okay? I was in the wrong lane. I should have been over one lane. But again, I was out of the body. I wasn't really receptive, let's put it that way. So he clips me with his bumper, and he takes, and it was an old car. It was, I think at the time it was a 1984 old Cadillac front-wheel drive. That's when they shrunk them. And so I couldn't do anything because he hooked me. He hooked my bumper. And so I had no control. There's nothing I could do. I couldn't turn it. I couldn't do anything. So I just took my foot off I came back into my body, and I took my foot off the accelerator. That's all I could do. And then it came undone, and the car, there was a Mexican restaurant on the corner. And there were some gals coming out from probably just having lunch. That's about the time it was during the day. And I saw the frightened look on their faces because the car was coming right for them. It was heading right to the window of the Mexican restaurant. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you just don't have, you can't do anything. You just got to sit there and experience it. So I just sat there and experienced it. The car came within, I would say, a couple inches of hitting this big picture window on the restaurant. So I get out of the vehicle. Of course, the bumper's all mangled. And they still had, back, in 84, they still had some metal chrome bumper. Not the heavy-duty ones like we had before that. And so the guy gets out of his truck, and he is just absolutely livid because I guess it was a newer truck. And all the way down the side, see, he had grazed me. So it put a scrape all the way down the side of his truck. He was just absolutely livid. I wasn't. I was still in some kind of a quiet, nothing really got me upset. I was in that kind of a mode that I wasn't irritated with it. And because of that, on how I was responding, and he's yelling and screaming like some lunatic, the police officer shows up. And this you can see how the universe works. You experience it. So the police officer shows up. He's a real mild guy. I knew him way before he was a police officer when he was in high school. So he comes up and he looks and everything, and then he says to me, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. See, he said, this happened to me when I was off duty, driving with my family. He said it was almost the same identical thing that happened to me. So he says, I know where you're coming from. He says, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to show up in court. So if when I don't show up, you come in there and then the case is dismissed and you won't have to pay anything. He said, do that, and you're good to go. There won't be any issues. I said, I really appreciate that. He says, you need help, getting your car. So when he was saying that, the guy with the truck comes walking up, totally different. I mean, it was like the difference between day and night and his attitude and energies. He was very soft-spoken, and he says, here, he says, I got some rope. He said, let me tie your bumper up so at least you can drive it home. Now remember, this is a guy who was, I mean, just pissed, okay? And he went from that, in a very short period of time, to the opposite. Accommodating, respectful. He says, these things happen. He says, probably my fault is going too fast. It's the only way I could have clipped your bumper. And he said, when I thought about it, I calmed down. He did. He ties the bumper up, and he says, I hope you have a good day. Hope the damage isn't too much. And the police officer, and everything just kind of folded perfectly with no issue or anything. Because I was not emitting irritation, anger, or anything. I was in a mode of total peace. No issue at all. Bomb could have gone off and I wouldn't have jumped at all. So from, thinking I was going to hit these women, which didn't happen. Then this guy getting all irate about his truck. And then it all shifted. Just absolutely didn't about face. It's the energies that we put out. The point is the energies that we put out is what we're going to get back. That's it. It is a proven fact for every single one of us. And you can't fake it. You can't. So you just let things go, you forgive, and you bring in this wonderful energy of deep eternal love for oneself and others, and it just changes everything. It doesn't matter how irritated someone is, as long as you don't become irritated along with them. And this is where we will have conflicts and stuff. Disagreements, arguments. Some people even get into physical fights. And when we forgive ourselves, and we forgive everything around us and everyone around us. And we're in gratitude 24/7. So we're in deep eternal gratitude. I'm grateful that this happened so I could experience it. And that sounds silly to some people. Well, you could have been killed. You could have gone through that, restaurant window, blah, blah, blah. But the point is that I didn't. And it worked out phenomenally well. Now, this is about where we decide to be at any particular time. Okay? It really is. And things happen. So I get the car fixed. I had a friend, my insurance agent I've had him for like 30 years. He had a friend on this old car, right, that could fix it like new for pennies on the dollar. So I took it to his friend, and his friend fixed it like new. Had a front quarter panel that was brand new. It was unbelievable. So he fixes it. So here I am, out from where I was living, and pull out, and there's mailboxes there, and you pull out and take left, and there's a corner there. It's an intersection. There's a stop sign. Okay, so I pull up there, getting ready to turn. And I was getting ready to go right. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking. I look across. For some reason, I don't know. And I look across and I see a car sitting there. Right? And she's just sitting there. And then I'm kind of getting a weird feeling. Don't know why. It just started coming in. And here comes this truck. Now, she doesn't look to her right. She doesn't bother. I'm watching her. For some reason, I was trying to figure out, she didn't seem too confident. She wasn't an old lady. So she's coming. She starts to pull out, and she didn't look to the right. The fella in the truck, old beat-up pickup truck, he's going, I would say, He just comes barreling down at about 90. He had to have been hitting 90. And what was the zone? 35. So he's just barreling. She doesn't look, okay? He hits her. Now remember, this is quite a ways across the street in a road that she's coming off of. Now I'm on the opposite side at the stop sign. He hits her, drives her across the road, and the impact was so powerful, and she hits me so hard, the car that I just had fixed, right, hits me so hard that it threw my car off the ground and up on an embankment, up on a grassy area. It literally did. I felt my neck snap. I heard this popping noise because the impact was so very strong. And so I just I didn't move. I just sat there. Okay. And he said the police came and everything. And he says, what happened? He said, she wasn't looking, and she pulls out, and she gets cold-cocked by this speeding pickup truck. And by the way, he didn't stop. He just pushed her in. He just kept going. He just pushed her right into me, and I just flew up and on the embankment. So, make a long story short, the damage, the new quarter pounder was totally wiped out. Completely, I mean, it was bad. The front side was all caved in and everything. So it gave me a hint, and it's something. So I said, I gave the car to my next door neighbor. He wanted it for some, he wanted it. So I gave it to him. And he himself, kind of jury-rigged. He hammered out the fender and everything, and he drove it. He took it. But it's things happen that say, I'm not going to keep this car. I'm not going to keep it. There's something there. When that happens, the second time, of course, it was a different situation. It's all in the process that we decide to be someplace, and then things happen. Now, obviously, if I had to decide to go out at that time, then nothing would have happened. So when we go through this life, we have a tendency to place ourselves in positions that things happen, and we experience things. Sometimes it's not too pleasant, and once we become clear and aware, we say to ourselves, "Hey, wait a minute. It's my responsibility. I was here at this time. I happened to be here. This woman did this and that, and so on and so forth." And you forgive everything and everyone involved, and you just move on. You let it go. You don't carry it with you. You don't become angry and irritated and upset. And this is where we have a tendency to do that. We let it get us. We do. We let it get under our skin. Could be anything. It could be something really trivial. And then it catapults us in this downward spiral of being angry and upset with ourselves, and then it attracts more of the goop, and then we find ourselves really submerged in the goop, and we get angry at other people for no reason because we're angry with ourselves. And we say to ourselves, is this doing me a greater good? No, it's not doing me a greater good. I got to get rid of it. I got to let it go. It's not serving me greater good. And so you let it go. And then we learn how to let go. We learn how to let go emotionally of things and, basically clean the cupboard, so to speak. Open a closet door that we have hidden within us. You say, boy, I've got to embrace this stuff and let it go. And see, our thoughts are so powerful that if you can be clear about something, but the ego mind pulls you into thinking this and thinking that, and you just say, and I've done this many times, where you just say, stop, ego mind, you are not in charge. You can say you're not in charge here. It may not do anything. Ego mind can just keep pulling on you, and you just keep saying it. And then eventually ego mind's gone. It leaves you alone. Because obviously you're not participating in it. But it wants you to participate in it. That's the same thing with fear. It's the same thing with frustration. It's the same thing with all of these emotions that we experience pretty much on a daily basis. Some of them, we're experiencing one or one of the others or several of the others. And of course, what's involved with that is fear. What is fear? Fear is an emotional response that happens when we imagine or believe that something is going to harm us in some way. See? That's what it is. And it can be healthy when it provides the valuable service of keeping us safe from physical dangers. Right? You come across a hungry bear or mountain lion, or stepping in front of a high-speeding truck, it activates our adrenaline glands, adrenal. And so that we can fight or take flight. So fear does have its place in this wildly active world that we live in, and thus does keep us alive. Someone says, well, I didn't have any fear when the bear was mauling me, right? And you come across things and stories that people have that have happened that they never believed would happen. But also we remember that fear and all the things that surface and bubble up, it's more often a life-defeating energy when we overreact to situations and experiences that hold no real danger. And I've said this before, and it's strange. What do you believe that any of us, any of us, and I'm not saying everyone, but I'm saying the majority. What is it? What is the biggie that the majority of us are frozen in our tracks about? I mean, fear overtakes us. It is giving a speech to a large crowd in public. Isn't that something? You would think that it's something else. That's a bunch of other stuff. No, that's it. That's it. Getting up in front of in a public place, a bunch of people, and giving some kind of speech or interaction. But you go out there and you say, "Hey, this is what's the big deal?" I've had several people through the years just freeze on me. They were supposed to go out and do a presentation, and and everything seemed fine until they were called to go to the podium, and they were froze. It's like some kind of movie. They just froze, and it was like they were weighted down. They said, "Come on, you got to go out there." And they just like they couldn't talk. They're starting to sweat. I just freaked out. And there were times where I would go out there and excuse them because I'm not kidding you. They would not move. And so when you learn to see that your fear is just excitement in disguise, you can turn the most challenging situation into an event you'll want to repeat again and again and again. So this is what I used to share with people, right? Turn your fear, notice that your fear is just excitement in disguise. And you can turn the most challenging situation into an event you'll want to repeat over and over and over again. And so eventually it caught on. And then people would go up to the podium and give a speech and say, you know what, they'd say, that was great. I felt great with that. And all these years I was scared to death. This was my biggest fear. And we know it's false evidence appearing real. Everything is false. It just depends on how we perceive it and how we create. And we create depending on how we react. And as we react, we're going to create the situation, whatever that may be. Now, if we react in an angry, upset, irritable way, we're going to attract more of that in the situation. If we, if we're the opposite of that, we'll attract the opposite of that, and it'll just kind of blend out. So it's really important for us to know ourselves and to be clear and aware that when we step down that path, irritability, anger, frustration, something happens, we click, and we start going down that path, we stop ourselves and say, I'm not going there. Why? Because we've been there before, and we know that, if I go there, I'm going to attract more of that same stuff, and I'm not interested in doing that. So no matter how much I could get upset, I'm not going to. The ego mind, stop, you're not in charge. Join you in meditation, I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, focused on your breath rising and falling. Surrender is the secret key to your enlightenment today. The moment you surrender to this eternal battle, internal battle, and be submerged in the actual experience of it, it disappears. If you're having trouble surrendering, let your greatest fear arise in you. Face it directly and let go of anything you're attached to. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night and the following morning. We'll return here Friday, May 30, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our reverse aging health call and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, and purest of the purest, purest. Eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.